And Betty sent them $10,000.
Bingo.
Emptied out the savings account and sent it to him, and it was his savings account all along. He just never knew about it.
Well, what's the rules on the gift funds, JJ? Because I mean, I know there's some restrictions potentially there. In today's day and age, what's the rule on the gift funds?
Yeah, and gift funds, I see this a lot, and I think the most important thing is to just kind of know what you need to do when you are getting a gift. I mean, gifts are fine; they're fine. It's certain different loan types have different restrictions as far as how much you can get a gift. But I mean, let's just look at FHA, because that's a loan that a lot of people are doing.
Right.
Gifts are fine. And gifts, the whole 3.5% down payment and closing costs can be a gift. Now, once your debt to income ratio starts going above a certain level, once it starts getting a little uncomfortable for the banks at 45%, they want you to, as a buyer, to have your own 3.5% down. So they want you to meet the minimum down payment restrictions. But other than that, gifts are fine. And I see this a lot. I mean, there's people that are buying homes with very little money and getting all gifts. The thing that's really important to know is what is the bank going to ask you for?
Right.
So you can't just get the gift and just get it from anybody and throw it in your bank and just assume that you're done.
Right.
You're done. We're going to require that you have a gift letter, and typically we're going to supply that for you. We'll make it easy for you. Here's a gift letter complete. Have the donor sign it. It's going to have their personal information on there. It's going to have their bank account information on there. And you know what? We're probably going to ask for a bank statement from the donor, and people get uncomfortable with that sometimes. Why do I need to supply a bank statement? The reason is so we know it's from Aunt Betty.
Right.
We know it's not from an investor that's not related, bringing money into the transaction so you can be the front person to buy it, to flip it for a profit, possibly.
Correct.
I mean, that's why we trail the gift funds. We're always going to look to paper trail the gift funds. So not only will we ask for the bank statement, we're going to want to see the money leave their account, enter your account, or maybe go straight to escrow.
Right.
That's okay, but we're going to trail it. So just be, the big thing is know, and when you're talking to Aunt Betty or your parents, know that this is kind of what we're going to be looking for. We're going to ask for the bank statements. We're going to want the gift letters. And people ask me about tax consequences all the time. Well, what about, isn't there a limit as far as how much we're gifting? Well, you know what, talk to your CPA about that.
Right.
We're not turning your gift paperwork into the IRS. I mean, we're not turning around and going, here, government, here's a $50,000 gift for this house. We're not doing that. So, I mean, the gift letter and the trailing of funds is for our purpose from a lending perspective only.
Okay.
But it's a great way to get in the house. And Mike, I think you make a great point when you are. I mean, I think there's so much pride in young people these days. They want to do it on their own.
Yeah.
I don't want to ask for help.
Right.
But when you ask for help, it's amazing. Or just, you don't even have to ask for it. You just let them know, hey, you know what, we're looking at homes. Oh, great. Hey, your parents probably know it's a great time to buy.
Right.
And they're going to want to help you out.
Yeah.
I think of your engagement. A lot of times people get married. They do the wish list of things for gifts. Wedding gifts. I would
Why
make
not
it
register
very
for a
clear.
house?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to give you the bank account and routing number, and if you really want to help us out, that's where it should go, because we're pulling funds for a house. And we're talking about buying a $300,000 house via FHA. You're going to need 12, 13 grand. So it's really not a mountain of money that you need to get into the marketplace. But there's a couple things that I think you should take away specifically from this conversation, Tyson. Number one, make your friends and family aware of what you're doing. Okay, because you can only get good help from that. There's no way that's going to hurt you. Also, buy the house first. A lot of people, I think, when they first become successful, they get their first job, the first thing they do is to buy a BMW. And that's a mistake. That's the wrong way to look at it. You should be driving a $3,000 or $4,000 car when you buy your first house. I mean, that's just the bottom line. You should be, because the house is a retirement vehicle. The car is just a money trap. So at 25, you've got such an advantage, man. If you can buy a house at 25, let me tell you something. You can get probably around 4% on your mortgage, okay? If you qualify, you get 4%, maybe less. It's ridiculous. You can make the minimum required payment for 30 years. You have a paid-off house and you're 55 years old.
How awesome is that?
There you go.
Now, that's a retirement plan. 55, your house is paid off, and that's if you don't make 1 red cent additional payment toward principal. That is a mortgage strategy. That is a retirement strategy. That is how you become smarter than everyone else. Tyson, good job listening to the show. Now remember, it's not just about what knowledge you have, it's about how you apply it, because knowledge without application is useless. So make sure you take this and run with it. Good job. And if you have questions, if you want to be smarter like Tyson, if you want to figure out, hey, where's the best place to buy in San Diego? Or hey, I've got this thing going. We really want to buy a house, and we tried once and it didn't work out. And we just think the market's too saturated with investors. Look, the market changes all the time. You got to stick with it. You have to be committed. And it has a lot to do with the professional you're working with. If you want someone who's Mr. Credit approved, like Mike Litton, who's in the studio today, call the helpline, 888-888-0154. It's 888-888-0154. When we come back, more questions. Ask Mr. Credit Inbox and more insight from Mike Litton. We'll make you smarter than everyone else. It's guaranteed.